What's up? I feel like I should start a YouTube channel. And although I've posted things to YouTube in the past, I haven't actually ever started a channel with the intention of being steady with it and doing that kind of thing. And so I've had just over the years, I've just had some sense that I should do it. And I haven't gone about it in a real wholehearted kind of way. And while I was praying the other day, and I pray a lot, it's what I do. I was praying, asking the Lord what I ought to do with my life and stuff. You know, I'm at that age, 43 years old, just had a birthday the other day. And when you start hitting this midlife season, you start to look back on your life up to this point and really ask yourself, you know, am I proud of how I've lived my life up to this point? Am I proud of what I've done? You kind of look back on 40 years of living and you start asking yourself what you have to show for it, you know? And that line of questioning might be fun for some people. But I got to say, man, looking back on the last 40 years and realizing that if I'm lucky, I have another one of those chunks, you know, a 40-year chunk, if I'm blessed by the Lord, it just has me start to kind of think about what it is that I'm actually into and what I'm doing. So one of the things that I haven't done that I've wanted to do this whole time is to be really intentional about creating a YouTube channel. I've been putting stuff on Facebook for this whole time, and you know, it's been okay. I got some good people over there that I'm really grateful for. If you're watching from Facebook, I love you and thank you for that. Thank you for following over here to the YouTube and coming and check out what I'm doing. But as I was praying the other day, kind of along these lines, and just saying, what in the heck should I do with my life, with my time, with my work? Like, you know, you just start thinking about that. You know, I sent my first son out into the world, turned 18, went out, moved back to Oregon. Kind of jealous of him just a little bit because, yeah, I'd like to live there too. But we'll get there one day. But just got me thinking. And I was kind of praying and asking God about all of that, and asking him what I should give myself to. And I got a text message from a friend almost right about that same time I was asking the Lord. And it was an old friend from a long time ago who, she said, I just had an open vision of you this morning where you had started a YouTube channel and it started to do real good, and it was just a YouTube channel of you just talking and being real and sharing about, you know, your property transformation and your thoughts on stuff, but it's like super raw, not preachy, super real, authentic, the whole deal. And she said, and then I saw you starting a podcast, and I saw all that took a little bit to get started, but then I saw it going real well for you. And so as I'm praying, again, this friend of mine sends me this message, and I'm just thinking like, well, dang, I could pretend like that didn't happen, or I can just accept that did happen and then act accordingly. And so this is that. So in 2022, we were able to come into possession of this property, and it's been quite the journey. And honestly, I felt like God was telling me to start the YouTube channel back then and to bring you guys along with the process of taking this house that is definitely less than ideal, which is maybe the understatement of the year, to bring it into something, making it into something beautiful, having no construction experience. Well, I would say minimum construction experience. I have I've worked for short stints with contractors, friends of ours who were contractors. We were intercessory missionaries for a long time, and we had ministry supporters, some of whom owned construction businesses. And whenever I needed extra cash, they'd let me come on and work with them. The conclusion usually was like, bro, you need to get back to just doing ministry work, bud. That was usually the conclusion after a little bit of time. But I have a little bit of experience from that, just being a helper for contractors and such. But aside from that, I don't have any, I was always helping. I was not the person making the decisions or understanding how things worked. It was just like, hey, here's a pry bar and a hammer, pull all the nails out of that piece of that wall over there, you know, kind of stuff. Whereas now I'm like start to finish, like learning how to frame, learning how to hang drywall, learning how to pull wire for electrical, learning how to wire up electrical wiring, And I have some experience with audio wiring, which I find that skill, it kind of bleeds over into electrical. So black wire, white wire, ground wire, same thing in electrical, same as power. And so I know how to work with the one, and so I find that it was a real easy transition to work with electrical wiring, and I have done my fair share of it in this house. So here's a development. We had a good friend come by, and he parked his camper here for a little bit, and he was renting space. Just he kind of volunteered to do such things, and real blessing. Good friend of mine still. He's one of my best friends here in Florida. And when he moved on to his next place, he actually left us the title to the travel trailer. And so now we have a travel trailer. And so it might be a cool series in the channel to look at maybe doing some like customization work on the trailer. That could be an interesting thing. So he left this here. He did quite a bit of renovation work himself to where he lived in it for a while. It's been set and empty just for a little bit, and so it has some critters in it that need to be cleared out, and I need to figure out how to get power to it consistently. We had a situation where we were able to get some power to it before, but that I don't think that's workable as it sits right now. So we're gonna look at getting some power to it, and then we got a little here. I'll just give you a little tour. How about a little tour of this, and we can see this. And so here it is. Here's the camper. It's in good shape. It's in good shape. So he left this AC so I can get AC in it. It has an AC in it that he installed back there. And so it's just like a little basic little trailer in here. It's a little bit messy, just a little bit. But it's actually not too bad. I mean, the smell is like, and it's like a little bit musty, but it's not like, I mean, I've had rental houses that smell like this when it sits empty. It's not that big of a deal. It isn't in bad shape. Let's see if Captain Mouse. You see, you got a little ants. So I gotta last time I opened this, oh, look at that. That's it. There's a little mouse nest right there. So we got to get but there was this mouse sitting right there staring at me in utter shock. And before I can get the dang camera out, he scurried off somewhere. But so I got to do a little bit of clearing out, just getting the little boogers out of here. But that's not a big deal, Randy, for the most part, he installed this thing, and it's got a little composting toilet situation, and it's a cool little setup that he left me, man. It was a real big gift. So Randy, I'm sure you're watching this, thank you. It's got a little bed section over there, refrigerator, and I'm thinking I might get one of them ultra efficient AC units that they have, and then install it where this vent fan is, or that vent fan over there is, because this right here has been good in the past, but it doesn't cool it like it used to. So it might just be running out of whatever the heck it runs out of. But anyway, so that's a project that we can maybe track. And so one thing this property has is tons of projects and tons of things that need to be fixed, man. Things that need to be fixed. One of them is pretty much all of the trees that are right here along this property line right here. There are trees that are rooted in my neighbor's property. And the thing is, it's a bummer because they're beautiful shade trees, but this particular one right there is dead and rotting out. And that right there, see that is where I sleep right there. See that? So that thing were to, that's not what we want. But all of these oaks, all of them right here, they're all just hanging over from my neighbor's property. And it's not like a neighbor that I know. I think the guy lives out of state or something. And I think he might have inherited it. I don't know. But it's not like a guy you could just say, hey, what are we doing? And every time I talk to the family, they're like, yeah, you can cut those trees. I'm like, oh, thanks so much. That costs thousands of dollars that I don't have right now. But hey, maybe I'll start the YouTube channel and it'll start doing good. Then I could have money to trim these trees. Look at that. Anyway, beautiful oaks. I love these trees, but what happens is they fall down, and they're falling pretty regularly. An example of that is right here. That tree you see right here that broke right there, it snapped right off just the other day. Like I heard it fall, I don't know, 2 weeks ago. and it's a massive oak tree just fell. And these trees along these lines, there's another one that had broke. They're just snapping left and right. I think it's because there's termites and or carpenter ants in these woods, but they're beautiful trees. I frankly like the trees. But dude, these Florida storms come and you could see like that branch snapped off. We had to deal with that. That branch snapped off. That was a big one. We had to chainsaw it up and cut it into pieces. And well, now we have chicken infrastructure that I'm trying not to get destroyed because I've freaking destroyed my back building this one. This is the first structure I've ever built from scratch in my life. This is the structure that caused my back injury, that made it to where I couldn't walk for a couple of months. So look at that. Doesn't look like much, but it'll hold some chickens. And so anyway, chickens, they'll be part of the channel for sure, because there's plenty of those. And then there's this right here. And this is something that I want y'all if y'all are praying people, would you please pray for me? This well right here is causing our power bill to be about $700 a month. And you're like, oh man, that's high. Well, it's because it never runs. It never stops running. And where is the pressure gauge? There's a pressure gauge somewhere. Pretty much the pressure is just pinned at 20 psi. And what that means is that our pressure tank never gets the pressure, and then the well just keeps on running and keeps trying to suck up water. It keeps trying to suck water into the system so that it can fill the pressure tank, so that it can give us good water pressure. But how that manifests in our house is it's a coin flip whether or not we can actually get water from our tap. So if you go to take a shower, mostly you go to take a shower, maybe you could take a shower, or it'll start and then wait till you're all soapy and then just stop working. And so anyhow, that's an adventure that we can track down together on the channel. Yeah, so the adventure of the well, and again, maybe I'll make a YouTube channel and maybe it'll do really good, and then I'll have money to hire a well guy. That would be cool. And then there's the Doges. Hello, Luna. This is Luna. She's incredibly nice and calm and wonderful to the family. She's an American Staffordshire Terrier, and we got her because we live in dang Florida, okay? And when we got her, the neighborhood we lived in was a little sus, and there was some tweakers down the road that liked to shoot guns and stuff, and be just overall foolish. Look, there's Willow. Hello, Willow. Hey, buddy. Hello, buddy. Hello, you good buddy. I love you, baby. And this is Willow. She's not the smartest one, but she sure is the most cuddly. She is the nicest and most cuddly, whereas Luna is incredibly loyal and will defend her family against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that's why we got her, because her breed is specifically good at being incredibly loyal to a family and then defending that family against pretty much everybody on earth. She's an American Staffordshire Terrier. The Staffordshire Terrier was actually known as a nanny dog because if you took that dog right here, she has a lot of the features of a pit bull, as you can see. Hey, you. Hello, baby. I love you, Luna. Hey, bud. How you doing? How you doing, my buddy? I love my puppies. So she has a lot of those, the features of the Staffordshire Terrier, but she has been mixed with the American Pit Bull, her genetics. She's a beautiful dog, beautiful example of the breed. But she's very, very, very territorial, which when I was working, when we lived in the ghetto, I needed to know that nobody with even 2 brain cells would even think about coming into our yard when I was at work. And when she's here, I don't worry about that, because anybody that values their personal health and safety won't walk up on her when she's in defense mode. But she's a dang teddy bear on our family. She's a teddy bear on the family. She loves the children, very patient with all of them, very, very, very mindful pooch. She's a good dog. You're a good dog, aren't you, Lou? You a good dog, Lou? You good, Luna? Love you, Luna. She's like, whatever, bud. I'm working, man. She's like, I'm working. I'm watching out, seeing what's going on. And so here's a progress shot of the hallway. This used to be a dang nightmare. I'm gonna have Erica send me a picture of when we first bought the house. What this was like. This hallway was 27 inches wide, okay? That's called, what that means is Matt will stand in the hallway and both of my elbows touch the walls. So I put all these lights in, did all the drywall, do all that. I still have at least one more coat of drywall in here. But this house has required renovation on almost every stage, but this is the example of the doors that we want to have throughout the entire house. And this is the girls' bedroom. This used to not be a bedroom. Cool story. This doesn't look like much. This looks like chaos, but believe it or not, this is big improvement because that wall was not there a little while ago, and neither was this wall. This wall was non-existent. That wall was non-existent. Tears and I were over there hanging out in the other room the other day on my birthday, and we heard this huge bam. Like, what in the world is that? We walked in here, and the ceiling was just like, nah, bro, I give up. And you know the funny thing is in the listing when we bought this house, brand new roofs. No, brand new ceilings. Brand new ceilings. You're gonna buy this house with brand new ceilings. And that's their brand new ceilings. It just falls out, just gives up the ghost. But it's okay because now I know how to fix it. So that's good. But this window is gonna be replaced with a big one, a big 4x5. 4 foot wide by 5 foot tall window. This is gonna be the girls' room. Their bed's gonna be there. You can see where I'm gonna be putting electrical. It's a little chaotic because the dang ceiling imploded and fell all over my tools and materials. And there's little scraps and stuff, but we'll talk about that later. Anyhow, so my thought with the YouTube channel is that it'll just be a place where I can come and just talk and share about the journey and share what is on my heart. For a long time, and I think one of the things that I let stop me for a while is the idea that I need to like have it all planned out before I do it. And what that is equated to is no YouTube channel, okay? Because apparently I was supposed to have my ducks in a row, and I didn't know I was supposed to have any ducks at all. But we're here, and so what I'm gonna do now, here's what we're gonna do with this YouTube channel, okay? I'm just gonna make videos and do that for a while and then look back and say, this is a blah, blah, blah channel. So I have a dog right behind you, so you could probably hear her. What you doing, Willow? I love my puppy. Ah! Puppy. You're okay, buddy. And so instead of saying, this is going to be a blah, blah, blah channel where we do blah, 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 and it's going to be this specific exact thing, same thing all the time. The only guarantees I'm going to give you right now is that I'm going to make videos, okay? They're going to be real. They're going to be about real life. I'm going to be real with you. No BS. I'm going to talk about all kind of stuff probably. But I think that in the process of just showing up all the time, all the common threads are going to also show up. And then we're going to be able to know what to call it. Because the truth of the matter is when you start things like this, they usually don't start off with like millions of subscribers and a whole bunch of views. So I'm not very visible right now. So I'm going to use this time where nobody's really seeing or paying attention to just maybe establish a habit of making videos and putting them on the internet in a YouTube format. Before I would mainly do the format of like Facebook Live. But I just, you know, it was cool. There's some people who showed up and appreciated what I did and was blessed by what I did and all that. But I don't want to do that anymore. And I mean, maybe I'll do that. Perhaps I'll still do Facebook Lives. I don't know. But I'm just thinking this format, YouTube format, Matt just talking about stuff and what's going on, I'll do that. And so the status of things with the house is that we have a large pile of problems, but this large pile of problems over time is turning into a respectable pile of skills. So that's good. The problems just don't stop coming. And so I could really use y'all's prayers and support in whatever you feel led to do. Our our toilets are gurgling constantly, and I find myself waking up to nightmares of all of my drains overflowing with crap. It's a reoccurring nightmare that I find myself having over the last few weeks. The toilets have now started to gurgle. It's happened while both Erica and myself have been on the toilet, not at the same time, in case you're wondering. That was kind of an awkward and bad joke, but there you go. Welcome to here. Welcome to now. But that is a very unnerving feeling when you're on the toilet and it just starts burping and bubbling up underneath your keister there, bud. And you start thinking like you don't want to find out what that kind of a bidet is like, you know, because wherever that water's coming from, it's coming from the depths of somewhere I don't want on my body. Okay, and so that's happening. Plumbing is not somewhere where I have a lot of experience, not somewhere where I've got a lot of expertise, although I have some understanding of how plumbing works because I've had to develop that just to get by in this house. So we're dealing with plumbing from the water intake, having problems at the well that's not only costing us close to $700 a month, but also not even really providing us with consistent water pressure to the extent that we haven't been able to do laundry this week because water pressure isn't held consistently enough to run the washing machine. And so there's a little baby problem to fix. Surely no big deal. And then there's the gurgling toilet problem. Welcome to the adventure. You know, it's a little bit of gamble whether you're going to get an organically free unsolicited bidet treatment from your septic system when you go to the bathroom. So that venture is engaged, so we're there. We're in operation. The ceiling is literally falling down. That's happening. And there's more. There's so much more. There's the air vents are sweating. There's the fact that the air vents are sweating, which is why the drywall ceilings have been falling down, because the people who installed the air conditioning vent system, they did not properly seal or insulate, and so now those vents are condensating and pretty much raining on top of the back of the drywall from the inside of my attic. No big deal. Yeah, and then there's carpenter ants. There's a bunch of carpenter ant damage that I'm just finding hiding out for me like little prizes all over the house. And so praise God, man. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? I tell you what, this house will make you either want to curse God and die, or it'll help you develop skills and a sense of humor. I find myself kind of dancing in between. Well, I won't curse God and die. That's terrible to say that. And I actually have never been tempted to do that. I was just saying, it's just like it has those vibes to it. It can be very demoralizing. In fact, probably the most demoralizing thing I've ever done in my life. Has great potential for demoralization. But you know what? The seasons prior to this, the message that I used to carry was that of choosing hope in any and all circumstances. And it's almost like the Lord's like, okay, bud, now it's time to put that to use. Here is an any and all circumstance for you. Knock yourself out on this one. And there's plenty of space to do that. And so starting a YouTube channel that needs content based on projects, well, cowabunga, buddy. We've got plenty of projects and plenty of that kind of thing here. And so if you're a praying person, go ahead and pray for me, please. Because I'm undertaking a big job. But here's the thing. Here's the reason why it's hard to walk away. And I've tried to walk away. I've tried to walk away a bunch of times, okay? I've got an opportunity here that a lot of people wish they had. And it's an opportunity that I've been fighting to get for a long time in my life. And that's the opportunity to own land, to own my own property, to live on my own, to live on my own, in my own house that I own. You know, Eric and I have been renting our whole lives. And in 2022, with the help of our support base, we were, like I said earlier, we were intercessory missionaries for a long time, and our ministry partners, that plus all the money the government was throwing at everybody, during that season. That we just kind of socked a lot of that away, and then with the help of friends and family and partners, we were able to come up with a down payment to buy a property. And this house should have never passed inspection, but it did. And sometimes I say by the grace of God it did, and sometimes I'll say to the great delight of the one who wants to destroy me, it went through. Because it can feel both ways depending on the day. But this is the thing, man. I'm learning that you've just got to choose hope, because life and circumstance aren't always just going to hand it to you. And one of the big things that I learned through my season as a professional intercessor, as a ministry guy, is my emphasis was on prayer and the unseen side of things, and affecting the spiritual realm, and all of that, and learning about the grace that is His strength is made perfect in weakness, the grace that carries us when we don't have the strength to carry ourselves. And I find that there is this other side of grace that I'm encountering right now that looks like capability and strength. It looks like a strength boost. It looks like when God makes you into a giant killer. You know what I'm saying? It's the grace of God that not only meets David on the hillside, in his loneliness, in his obscurity, in the isolation, in the rejection, the grace of God that met him there when he had no ability to take care of himself, the grace of God that demonstrated itself as God, the great deliverer, the shield, the strong tower, the shepherd, all of that. You need to build, like, God builds on that. And so I've been in this journey over the last God knows how many years of learning about grace. But there's this other side of grace, this giant killer grace, this thing, the same grace that comforted David's broken heart in the wilderness, is the same God and the same grace that put the courage in his heart to slay Goliath. And that grace took David from the rejection and the obscurity of a son that was so disregarded by his own father that when the prophet Samuel came to Jesse's house and asked him to line up all of his sons, Jesse didn't even bother to initially consider calling David in. Okay? His father did not even acknowledge David's sonship or his acceptance or ownership of his son. And so the grace of God comforted this rejected, fatherless boy in the wilderness and prophesied that he would be king of Israel, led him to slay giants, led him into the years when the world's most strong, powerful military then was at his six, trying to destroy him for the beginning of his adult life, to then raising up the outcasts of society. And he literally raised up David's mighty men. He literally then proceeded to raise up other men as giant killers. This is all still the grace of God. And eventually it led to him being the world's most powerful military and political leader, to the extent that Jesus Christ himself is sitting on the throne of David. Taking this kid from the rejection and the obscurity of his father's house to literally having the throne that the Son of God sits on being named after him. It's all grace. It's all the grace of God. And so for the longest time, God has met me in my rejection and in my brokenness. Because, man, I've suffered with mental health stuff since I was a little kid. I was beaten up and bullied. I was just a tormented dude, and I acted like one when I was a kid. I was in and out of mental health facilities as a kid. Really a tormented world. And I met and encountered the grace of God in that season, where he comforted me in my weakness, where he healed my broken and rejected heart. Now I find myself in this full circle season where the subject has not changed. It's still the grace of God, but it's the grace of God where he's now standing me up in front of giants that are twice my size, in front of problems bigger than anything I've ever faced in my life. And he's saying, all right, Matt, let's do this. And it's absolutely overwhelming. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. But I'm here for it. By the grace of God. I have my good and bad days, God knows. But I think this journey has a chance of being inspiring to some people who are going through some hard times. Because pretty much, I think my story, from what I can see, is a story of a man being fathered by God and learning how to overcome obstacles that seem impossible, and learning how to hope in God under a high level of pressure, because that is what I'm under. It's a high level of pressure. Every real estate professional that we've had come look at this house tells us the best thing that you could do is leave the keys on the counter and walk away, because this house was supposed to be a teardown. It was a season when all these private equity companies were buying up all the starter homes, and every house we put an offer on would get outbid until we hit this one, because no one wanted to buy it. It was a piece of crap. And so it was an outcast and rejected property, rejected by everybody who knew better. Some days I wish I'd have known better. God, just being really honest with you, man. And so I guess I'm going to let you guys in on the journey. I'm going to ask y'all to please be kind in the comments. If you have insights, particularly regarding these problems that I'm having with construction, I want your wisdom. I really do. But you don't have to be a condescending asshat in order to offer that, okay? So I just want to say I am open to your suggestions. Just don't be a jerk, okay? That would be awesome. That was the dog doing its thing. Dude, this dog straight up shows up and lays down like a dang human on my bed. Like, it looks like a human that's been out drinking for a long time. I'd show it to you, but Erica's sleeping right now, and I'm pretty sure she don't want to be on camera. I'm positive she doesn't want to be on camera right now, but she's right there. But anyway, so that's that. This is the YouTube channel. Let me know what you think. I don't expect a lot of people to watch this video, but this is just me being obedient to God and putting a YouTube video out there. So here it is. A dude in his mid-40s learning a bunch of stuff he probably should have learned in his teens from a gracious God, where we get to, sorry, a little musical accompaniment from an alarm there. It's going to be real. I'm going to leave that in. Not even going to edit it out, guys. It's going to be that raw, that real, okay? Anyway, that's the YouTube channel so far. And then I figure we'll just do this for a little while, and then I'll turn back around, and then I'll title it. And so, hey, if you're here from Facebook, from my Facebook people, I just want to say thank you for following me over here to this new platform. I really, really appreciate it. If you're a patron, so I have a Patreon called the Bright Hope Collective Patreon, or the Bright Hope Patreon, something like this. Patreon.com/thebrighthope. It's a free Patreon. But if you do subscribe to it, you can give as much as you want monthly, and you can help support us and help us to keep making this stuff. On that is a bunch of songs and works in progress. I put a bunch of spontaneous worship stuff on there. Got a handful of those up there. Got a bunch of stuff I put over there over the last year or two. And that's kind of where I'm building a community to some degree or another. And I'm kind of just trying to find my way through this whole thing. So I've got a lot that I want to do on my heart. You know, I have no shortage of projects, and I have no shortage of vision. What I do have a shortage of is attention span. I do have a shortage of that kind of thing. So pray for me. But anyway, this video is already getting long. But here's the thing. You're on YouTube, okay? You're not on Instagram. You're not on dang TikTok right now. You're on the long format platform. So you're welcome. There's your long format. So anyway, I love you guys. Bless you guys. And yeah, see you on the next video. Like the video. It helps it to make other people see it. Let other people see it. Let YouTube know people are interested in it. And then go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified whenever I post again. Hit the bell icon if you want to be notified. But at the end of the day, you're free, okay? You do what you want. Anyway, talk to you soon. Peace.